Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Is It Wrong podcast with your host, me, Rey Parra. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe and share. Add all your comments. We love the comments. Every time we have a special guest, there's different comments. We have a conversation. We have a great time, guys. Remember to get our merch. We got some cool t-shirts, some cool mechanic shirts, some hats, some buttons, some mugs, all kinds of real good stuff. But just stay tuned for today's guest. It's going to be a great one.
This show is called Is It Wrong Podcast with Rey Parra.
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Is It Wrong? In tonight's episode, we have legendary bassist from the legendary band King's X.
Is it wrong? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See that? Is it wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Pinnick. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Good, man. Yeah, the Is It Wrong thing, I'll tell you about it later. Basically,
I love that.
Yeah, it's like we can talk about anything. Is it wrong? You know what I mean?
Nothing's wrong in my eyes when it comes to talking. Because honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you shouldn't tell people things all the time, but there are things that you want to tell people that you feel you can be yourself. But some things you shouldn't tell people either. You can't tell people everything because some people use it against you. Anyway.
I know it. Yeah, no, for me, I'm one of those guys, man. I'm a face value kind of guy. I am who I am.
Me too.
You like me or you don't, you know?
Exactly. Took me a long time to get there, too.
Yeah, 73 years. You said 73 or 75?
I'm 75.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, first question I want to ask you is, I'm sure you've been asked this 100 times, but so when I announced that I was going to have you on this Friday, recording you tonight, people send me questions, which is how I like to do it, because if I don't do it live, they send me questions and I'll ask some of the questions on here.
Exactly. I get you.
Yeah. I don't like certain times I don't do live for obvious reasons. You know, it gets out of hand sometimes, but but tonight is not live, but nonetheless, I had a few people asking me, what does the name King's X mean?
King's X. That means, how do I put it? Let me see here. Getting situated here. That's all I'm doing. Well, King's X was a name that our first manager, well, not first manager, but our manager that was the guy that got us a record deal in the first 4 records on Atlantic. He was our manager. His name is Sam Taylor. And he had a brother in the 60s that had a band called King's X. And we were called The Edge. And then one day when we got the record deal, we found that we needed a new name. And to make a long story short, we changed our name to King's X from Sneak Preview. We were called The Edge, and then we were called Sneak Preview. And then we changed it to King's X. And it was Sam's idea. I don't think any of us liked the name because it's hard to rename yourself after you've got a name and it's your name. Yeah. And, you know, after 6, 7 years, all of a sudden we got a different name. And I don't think I've ever gotten used to it. It's sort of like your name and then somebody just changed your name out of nowhere. And now you're Rusty Brown. And you just like, it just doesn't feel right. But that's what everybody knows you by, you know? Right. So, so that's how we got that name, really. I had nothing to do with it. I love naming things. I've gotten to name some of the King's X records and I love to name my solo records because I love it's just fun to put words together and come up with, conjure up things. But we didn't do it on the King's X name.
Right. No, I love that, man. I love that. And then your voice, man, you have such a unique voice. So let me ask you this. It's kind of like the name thing you're talking about. When you realized your voice, the tone you have and everything, did you instantly when you started singing? I know you grew up in a Black Baptist church. Your grandma was Baptist, and she, you know, everything I read talks about your roots are in that. Yeah, and it shows in your style of singing. You know, so when you first started singing that, was it something you like started singing? And you thought, man, I'm going to keep this vibe rather than try to sound like somebody else.
No, I was thinking, actually, night before last, you know, I go back and think about things because I see them in a different light now than I used to.
Mm,
And I noticed that when I started singing soulful was around middle 60s when I moved in with my mother, who took me to the church that she went to was a black gospel church that
mm,
sang. The people,
yeah,
they all sang like Aretha Franklin and Stevie Wonder. I mean, everybody did.
yeah.
And that's where I learned. I learned to mimic them. Before that, I sounded like a little white choir boy.
Oh shoot.
Oh yeah, I mean, in choir, I sang perfectly, on pitch, no vibrato, no anything. I
Yeah.
remember I learned vibrato when I was about 16. And
Wow.
and I was stumbling through the house singing a James Brown song, always frustrated because I couldn't get that wobble in my voice,
Oh yeah.
and I stumbled, and my voice wobbled,
Oh,
and that's when I understood how to make my voice wobble, literally.
yeah. Wow.
Um, but I've been singing all my life. As soon as my mom said I was singing, as soon as I came out, and
Mm,
she said I could sing melodies before I could talk, and she
wow.
said she knew I knew the song I wanted to hear, even though I couldn't read the label. I could tell by the cover of it.
Wow.
And I've always been fascinated by album covers, labels. King Records, Atlantic Records, back in the day. When we had records and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And being an artist, I've always gravitated. That was a big part of records and listening to music was watching the record spin and
Sure.
the cool label that they had.
Yeah,
And
man.
I remember Apollo label was mint green with a black name that said Apollo, and Mahalia Jackson sang
Mm,
on that label. And my aunt came down to my great grandmother's house, who raised me as a child.
mhm.
And I remember I was like 4 or 5 years old, and she brought her little record player and played this, and it was a '78 at the time. And she put this record on, and it was "I'm gonna move on up a little higher." And
Oh yeah.
it was Mahalia Jackson, who was the first gospel singer who ever recorded.
Wow.
And I never forgot how powerful her voice was and how she could just hit those notes. And she got to sing for the president of the United States too, even though she had to go through the
Wow.
back, even though she had to go through the back door
Mm.
and leave by the back door. She wasn't allowed to be around the white people, but she did sing, which
Oh wow.
was amazing at that point. But in the Staples singers, I heard at an early age. Mavis Staples, just she gave me goosebumps when I heard her sing. Her
Yeah.
voice was so rough and soulful, and those two voices stuck in the back of my head. But I never listened. I never sat down to try to mimic them.
Mm.
I went back to doing what I did at school, was singing like a little choir boy. But
Yeah, man.
when I moved in with my mother, and she started taking me to the black gospel church that had the gospel singing in it, because my
Mhm.
great grandmother who raised me, she took me to church, but they didn't sing. They didn't have piano player.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, they just kind of sang some hymns. There was like 8 or 9 people in the church, period.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and that was my whole till I was 14. I went to a church like that, and I listened
Yeah.
to the preacher yell hellfire and brimstone that I was
Oh
going to
yeah.
go to hell if I drank, I smoked, and I was gay. And
Yeah.
there's like 8 people in the place,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where I grew up. But I going to church with my mom. I heard these people singing like this. And then Stevie Wonder Talking Book came out, and I remember also, well, actually, Stevie Wonder and Aretha, everything that I ever heard from them, I tried to mimic them
Mm.
I listened to every inflection. I mean, there's a video my buddy Wally put out that I'm singing Dr. Feelgood.
Oh yeah.
I'm mimicking Dr. Feelgood with Aretha Franklin's voice. So he played the
Wow.
record, and I sang the whole song note for note, grunt for grunt, but I didn't sing it. I just mimicked it. I
Mhm.
mean, it was perfect, and he videoed it, and I didn't know it. And
Wow.
we posted it later. But I mean, and when I watched it back, I'm going, dude, you really studied this woman, and I did. I studied the singers that if a singer gave me goosebumps, I would go back and play that over and over and over again and figure out how they did it and mimic
Mm.
it.
Oh yeah.
It was very important. I mean, a lot of people saying, you have so much soul, or you have so much feeling. I'm going, it's all learned. Everything is learned. Nobody's getting
Yeah.
up there going, oh, I feel so amazing that I'm just going to sing this part. No,
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know if anybody thinks that. They open their mouth up, and most people hate what they hear, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, when I
we're trying to just be on pitch and in the moment, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, I
But
remember,
so go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I was I
Mm,
was I was music minister at my church, and
ah,
it was a mixed church, black and white people, but
mhm.
I really leaned towards the black gospel stuff.
That's
Yeah, man.
exactly what I lived every
Yeah.
Sunday from the time I was 14 till I was 18. And
Love
then
it.
I took off doing my own thing. But yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, every Sunday was a show, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The choir sang 2 or 3 songs. The great singers, there was like 10 of them.
Oh, yeah.
We had one lady that could, her name was Tina, and she could sing like Mavis Staples a lot, and
Oh,
she
man.
could clean a church out. People would be in the street shouting and screaming, "Thank you, Jesus!" And she's still up in the pulpit singing.
Wow.
I mean, dude, the emotion. I mean, when I do Over My Head, I'm just mimicking what I grew up listening to, you know.
Yeah,
And
man, yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
really, between your mom and your grandma, they kind of helped to mold you in that sense and leading you in the right direction, man, and
well, in that sense, but they didn't lead me in the direction. Neither one of them paid any attention to what I was doing.
oh, really?
Nah,
Oh,
they were too busy trying to survive their own lives. I'll say it that way. You
oh,
know, yeah, they didn't know what I was doing. I could bring blue ribbons home from winning contests in grade school and nobody paid attention. You know, I just go, look at Grandma, I won a blue ribbon singing today, first place, and she'd look up and go, okay, and she'd keep on knitting, and I just put it in my room, and I don't even know where they're at.
oh,
I
wow.
mean, yeah, the thing about my life is there was never any encouragement ever. There was never any
Really?
discouragement. There was never discouragement either.
Hmm.
It was like basically, oh, he's over there doing whatever he does. That's the
Yeah.
way it always was until I got a record deal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When I got signed, all of a sudden everybody notices it, in my family, not in a bad way, because most of
Right.
my family didn't know what I was doing anyway. But when they saw me on MTV, then all of a sudden, oh, Dougie's on there. But my mom never came out to see me do anything really,
Wow,
or
man.
even inquired until we came to town as King's X and a record deal, and then she was there watching the show. And I'd always tell everybody, that's my mom.
Wow.
And she never ever told me that King's X was good or that I was a good bass player or a good singer. She never gave me a compliment, period,
Why do you
good
think
or
that is?
bad. Um, well, now that she's passed away and now that I've learned about the nature of people, I know she was proud of me because everybody said she was, and I know that she talked me up to everyone, and I
Mm,
understand that. But there are parents who, how you put it, have a jealousy in the back of their mind, and they don't
yeah,
want to give you credit for what you've done. And I understand that.
yeah,
And yeah, I suffered from it, but it made me the person I am today. And I get it
yeah,
now. You know,
yeah, yeah,
sometimes if we understood why our parents did what we did to us, we wouldn't cry every night about
yeah,
what was done to us that we felt they should not have done. You know, you got to get in their head and realize, they are who they are and they did what they did. And if they hadn't known any better, I'm sure they wouldn't have done it, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And
Because
that's
there's
just,
always something going on in the background that we really don't know about.
also,
They might not have said a whole lot.
not just something, a whole lifetime
Yeah, yeah,
of disappointment, conditioning, and just upness.
mm,
People forget that we all have issues. Every one of us.
yeah,
If you got problems, then your parents had problems too, and your sisters
right,
and
right,
brothers. Nobody's walking around going everything's great. They're not. It's a
right,
game.
right,
It's a
right.
game. It's
It's
that
a
mask.
facade.
Yep, most people just see the mask and be okay with it. I just don't want to see the mask. I want to see
Yeah,
behind it.
yeah, yeah. Now, as far
Yeah.
as your bass playing,
Hmm.
you started playing on a broomstick, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't start playing on
I
a
mean, but that was
broomstick.
like the big,
Well, what happened was I always wanted to play bass since I was like 9 or 10, somewhere around there. I think Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers had this record out called Why Do Fools Fall in Love. This is in the middle 50s sometime, 53, 4, 5, somewhere around. I was 5 or 6 years old, 7. And I went over to my cousin's house and she put that record on. And I remember the bass line was like, I just remember the bass line. That's all I remember. Now Frankie could sing his butt off,
yeah.
and it didn't. I didn't mind that because everybody sang like that, you know. But this bass line, dum, da-dum, 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 dum, dum, and I'm going, what the? And I remember I sat there and listened to the whole thing. And every time she played that song, I ran over to their house and listened because they lived next door to me. So whenever she
Oh
played that
yeah.
record, I'd run out the door and go sit there and listen to it. And I memorized it. And I always wanted to, I just like that sound. And
Hmm.
then I think seeing someone play bass on TV, maybe Ed Sullivan Show, there was somebody playing a bass, and I saw what that was, and I saw the upright basses too. It
Oh
was,
yeah.
I think there was one at the grade school that I even tried to plunk on, but there was always something there that kept my attention. But I remember my grandma had a broom, and I would take the broom and hang it sideways and play like I was playing bass. Or I'd take a plate and drive around the house like this, like I was a race car driving. You know,
That's great.
oh yeah, I found all kinds of things to occupy myself. I was pretty much isolated and alone my whole childhood. I mean, there was just really no one there, and so I made up stuff. You know, I had a
Yeah.
vivid imagination. Children like me do that.
Hmm.
We can entertain ourselves. To this day, I can
Yeah.
be alone for months and not see a person, and that bother doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, sure. So you think that had a lot to do with uh, played a big role in the emotion in your writing and singing because there's so much emotion in it. It's like you go on a trip with every song. There's like a
Yeah,
story.
well, yeah, it's because it's like, even though, like I said before, it's a learned behavior. I mean, everything is a learned, no matter what you're expressing, it's how you express it.
Yeah.
And I express it in a soulful way, but everyone expresses in their own way. If you put them a sugar record on, why does everyone love him so much? And not just the math, but the singer.
Mhm.
Even
Mhm.
though he's screaming, there's something about what he's saying and how he feels it. So for that, it's like, yeah, um, we all emulate our feelings through what we've learned.
Mhm.
That's what well, I shouldn't say all. I can never put a cap on everything, but that's the way I see it in so many ways. And everything that I say can always be disputed, and I will probably agree with you also in your disagreeing,
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't mind being set straight. But I think that it's just where you grow up and what music that comes your way. You know, like Ty Tabor, our guitar player, grew up playing bluegrass with his dad. And because of that, the way he plays guitar, it's like Black Sabbath with a bluegrass guitar player,
Yeah.
you know, and you don't know that, but that's one of the aspects of King's X that I love about us, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, just like the soulful part, you know, the gospel side of us and the Black Sabbath thing that we all love. Um, but it's all, I forgot what the question you were asking now because I got all sidetracked
No,
again.
I was just saying that growing up the way you did that have a
Oh
big
yeah.
impact on your writing?
What had a big impact on my writing was I never started writing lyrics till I got in my early 20s and I started writing songs. I started writing songs when I was 18.
Mm.
And being a Christian kid going to church all the time, I just sang about you being saved and sin and all the bullshit that basically your Christianity 101 lyrics.
Mm.
Okay, Jesus loves me, this I know stuff.
Mhm.
And not knowing any better, that's all I knew to sing about because that was my life, is going to church and being a Jesus freak. And I did that for like until I was almost up to 30. So in that time, all my lyrics were about, they were dogmatic, basically,
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
being saved. Then right when I heard U2, I heard I will follow, and the lyrics, I try to find my feet, but I fall in you, I'm complete. And the whole song was a confession of not being a perfect Christian. It's something that I had never heard a Christian even admit,
Mm,
that they really had flaws and they were
yeah.
lost and they didn't know what was going on. And when Bono did that, it knocked me like over and I went, dude, that's real.
Mm,
And I thought, that's what I need to do. I want to just be real.
yeah.
And at that point, I started exploring who I was and how I felt about things.
Mm,
And it just kept progressing. Um, the passion that I get I give when I sing, I can emulate it. Somebody said one time you could sing the telephone book and I can. Okay. You know how to
yeah,
take the
yeah,
right words and do it. But
yeah.
the thing about it, the lyrics, when I started writing about how I felt and the struggle inside and trying to relate to other people and just pouring my heart out, all of a sudden I felt this weight being lifted as I screamed out my pain, which I mean that
Mm.
sounds dramatic, but
No, no, I
I
get it.
was just going through so much trying to find myself from all the Christianity and all this the parental abandonment and the in the way I was raised, you know, being gay, growing up, being one of the only black kids in my grade school, in the 50s, living in almost an all white town with about five black families. You know, it was
Mm,
like
yeah.
there was so much a little child like me had to deal with of trying to find myself. Who
Mm,
are you? Well, you're black, so white people don't like you. Well, you're gay, so everybody's gonna hate you.
mm,
Well, you know, you know, you don't have a daddy. Oh, and everybody else does. So, oh, you're a bastard child. And where's your mommy? Oh, she left, so she must be a tramp if she hasn't been around since you were three. You know, and I'm walking around going, who am I? And my great grandma, she's, you know, just knitting and I'm in my room. I go to school. She feeds me. I go to bed, and that
yeah.
was it. When I want to go play with my friends, she wouldn't let me go because they don't want to be bothered with you, and you know, and so I didn't get to go nowhere hardly ever. I couldn't go
Mm,
to dances. I couldn't go to anything that was, you know, that had sin, you know, around it, and there was no Christian things going on. You
yeah.
know, they just hops at school, and she wouldn't let me go to that, you know. So, you know, everything that happened to me made I put into my music, and it worked.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it
So
saved me, you know.
yeah, yeah.
That's what we
And,
all do, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I grew up in a Catholic church kind of thing, and then
Oh, you're
when I got
guilty for
older
everything, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, when I turned, 22, I became a Christian, and then, I realized that I can be a Christian and not be perfect, like you just said, and that's
Uh-huh.
the great thing about the Lord, man. We don't if we were perfect people, we wouldn't need Jesus, right? He died for our sins that we can have redemption, but that whosoever believe in him, all that. You grew up in that. But for me, it's like this. I've never turned away from him, and I never will, because I know that I do have freedom as a person,
Hmm.
but I have that relationship with him, and so it's kind of one of those things where when I do talk to people that say, yeah, I used to go to church, I used to this, I used to that, but I don't anymore. Well, why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? Yeah, you
Yeah,
grew up.
I will argue with you a little bit on that. Why not is because everyone has a different walk, and everyone
True.
has a different take, and
Hmm.
everyone has a different thing that they had to deal with.
Yeah.
My thing with religion was never good. It
Mm.
was always you're wrong. There's something wrong with you. You're a sinner. You're
Right,
not
right.
right. There was never one time that I felt any love
Really?
as a Christian because I was judged
Mm.
all the time. I was
Right,
Baptist. That's
right.
all they do. Okay, so all I knew was I hated myself. And
Mm.
one of the reasons why I dealt with my self-hatred so hard was because the church taught me
Wow.
not to love myself. And then turn around and say, God loves you.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
tough.
Then, and I believed it. And I did everything I was supposed to while I
Mhm.
watched all my other Christian friends do shit, hide it, lie about it, do all this kind of stuff. And I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do, terrified that if I did anything wrong, that God was going to come and destroy me.
And yet you were the
That
outcast.
was my life. And one day I
Yeah.
realized, if this is the God I believe in, then this
Mm,
God is the most psychopathic, narcissistic being that I have ever met, and I
mm,
want no part of it.
mm,
Second thing is, I feel that most Christians don't believe anything. They're just scared of going to hell because somebody convinced them of that.
mm.
Now, I do believe that there are some true Christians out there, and I will name them even, that
Yeah.
live the life, do what they do, believe what they believe in the way that they're supposed to. And I
Mhm.
applaud them, and I go, you do your thing, whatever gets you through the night.
Right,
And
right.
and that's where I have to stand at that. I
Yeah.
will never tell anyone they're wrong in what they
Mhm.
believe. All I know is the reasons why I don't believe in that anymore is because of it was 40 years of
Wow.
undoing
Mm,
all that I had learned. And when I got to the point where there was more reasonable doubt than truth,
mm,
that's when I started to fade away. And it took me 10 years to fade away from it.
mm,
And 10 more years of believing that, well, whatever's out there, I don't know, but
mm.
I'm okay with that.
Right, right.
Now I understand why Christ came. He had a consciousness that he was trying to bring to us.
Mm,
He said to the scribes and Pharisees, you worship the devil. He said that the kingdom of heaven is within. That means, why are we looking outside for something to take care of us, fix us, and save us? When Jesus said it's all within us, he said,
mhm.
and we can do greater things than he did.
That's right.
Jesus was an empath, and he had tapped into the core of who he was.
Mhm.
He was a part of the creation. He is a part of God. God is in us. And
Mm,
we have to tap into that. And
mhm.
what's happening is man has turned God into a thing, given it a name, and then legislated it. And
Mm.
we've lost the meaning, and no one's looking in anymore. They're all
Yeah.
looking out.
Mhm.
And when you start to look in, you see you don't need to be saved by anyone. You need to become whole with yourself and with the Creator.
That's right, man.
And that's
And
something, and that's something that we cannot name. And that's my problem. People
mhm.
start naming things. It's like if I say I'm a Republican, I'm MAGA, or a Democrat, all of a sudden a flood of judgment comes flying
Oh, yeah.
through. Okay, this is my problem with the God concept. We want to name it. We want to put some kind of thing on it. And it can't be. God cannot be defined. We just have to let God be within us and find that truth. And Jesus said, seek and it will come to you. Be
Mhm.
still, be quiet, know who you are, know yourself. If you can do that and love yourself, then you can go out there and maybe do some good in the world. The rest of it, in my humble opinion, is a waste of my time.
Mm, yeah. Dude, you're preaching so good. I want to take up a love offering, man.
I don't want to alienate no
Oh,
one. I never want
no,
to tell anyone not to believe, but I believe that we're all looking for the same thing.
yeah,
Just
man. No.
peace of mind.
Yeah, yeah. No, you said a lot of good right there, man. It's
Okay.
good,
All
and
right.
I appreciate that, man. But let's get on to music now.
You
No,
said
that
let's
was
go there.
oh no, absolutely, man.
I
Because here's
will
the thing,
go there. I will
a
go
lot,
there.
a lot. Let me just say this. I'm glad you just explained what you did because
Hmm.
so many people had said, man, you know what? I don't know whatever happened to Doug. It seemed
Hmm.
like they were on fire for the Lord, then he wasn't. He renounced Christ. Da, 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 da. So right now, you pretty much explained everything.
And
In,
I got
in,
to
in,
say
in,
something too. I was never on fire for anybody.
mm,
I just went out and spoke what I felt. And
yeah,
I've
yeah,
always done that. Everything I've written about and spoke about was how I feel about everything. I
right,
was
right,
never, not one time, went out to save the world or tell people they need to be saved.
right, right.
I mean, well, after after I became around 30 and started King's X. That's when I decided this is now going to be evangelical.
Right.
Before that, yeah, because I didn't know any better. I was just a dumb Christian in my mind who thought he knew everything and but didn't even know himself.
Ooh, that's so good, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good.
I mean, remember, Jesus didn't even start anything till he was 33.
33. That's right. That's right, man. All right. So, one of the questions I was going to ask you already answered.
Uh-huh.
I was going to ask you when you're writing, does the melody come first, or the
No,
groove, or the lyrics?
no.
You know. Yeah.
Group comes first.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
Guitars or drums. I'll pull
Yeah.
up a drum program on my Superior drummer. Or back in the day, my drum machine was just four on the floor like AC/DC, and I just wrote everything around it, and and then we would come together and piece it all together. Yeah, that's how I do it. Now I find that if I write lyrics, um, musically, I have nowhere to go for some
Mm,
reason. So I like to write these crazy chords and crazy progressions, and then try to figure out how to say something that's
yeah.
profound or or totally the opposite,
Yeah.
you
Profound or
know.
not.
Yeah, and that's always a nightmare because I've got tons and tons of songs with no lyrics, no melodies.
Oh wow.
Oh, a lot. I mean,
Give me some.
I can write a song a day. I've been thinking about it, and I've got this. So I've got I got a bunch of stuff. One day I'm gonna throw it all out there.
Nice. You know what? You probably don't remember this because you've done probably thousands of shows. We did my band. I'm in the band Sacred Warrior. And we
Yeah.
did a show in Texas. Yeah, and I don't know if you remember this. You, my keyboard player Rick Macias, our guitar player Bruce Swift, and myself. We were walking around Texas. I think it was Dallas before our show, and then also the drummer
Houston, probably Houston.
Houston, yeah, and
Hmm.
the drummer and the singer from In Living Color were there as well, hanging
Ah,
out at the show. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that was wow, it was really cool walking around
wow,
town.
I don't, but I should. So many things that I don't remember. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's something that I remember forever. We've talked. In fact, we talked about it the other night in our band break.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, man. And then I have another band called Deny the Fallen, and
Hmm.
my guitar player John in that band, just total King's X freak. And we
Awesome.
did a show. We played this festival, and I want to play you this little clip. We actually played one of your songs, and this is him singing it. Here's the clip. Yeah.
Awesome.
What a song, bro. What? Oh, he told me to say hi to you, by the way.
Hey,
His name's
great
John.
job. Great job.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was fun, man. But and then this is another funny story. Your song Lost in Germany. It's
Hmm.
obviously not about being lost in Germany.
Lost in Germany, swimming in an ocean of your feelings, counting.
But when we first heard it, we're like, oh yeah. And just a couple years ago, we did a show in Germany,
Hmm.
and the promoter, they picked us up at the airport and dropped us off in this town right in the middle of Germany. And there was like nobody, it was like the whole town was closed. And we're
Hmm.
like, we're lost in Germany, man. It was the craziest thing.
Now
The
you get the song.
yeah, it was so crazy, man.
I was trying to try to call his wife because we didn't have cell phones back then. And
Right.
whatever town we got to, the first thing Ty and Jerry would do is find a phone and call their wives because
Mm,
all hell would break loose if they didn't. And that's what the song's about. Yeah, the line says walking around trying to find a phone.
yeah, man. Yeah, crazy, man. But it was funny. We related to that song, man.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, now you've done some stuff with Greg Volz and
Yeah.
Bill Keggy and a
Oh yeah.
lot of these guys, man. Just what was that like?
I know them all.
I'm
Oh,
sure you do.
I'm not. I was that little kid in the corner everywhere, and
Oh
everybody looks
yeah,
at me. Who's that little guy?
yeah.
No, it was eye opening for me because, like I said before, about being around Christians and I was being taught that I had to be this somebody that I wasn't,
Right.
and then believing that all my peers were really being themselves by being someone they weren't.
Mm,
And when I got around these Christians, especially around when they were playing and when they were around each other, I saw different personalities.
different side of them.
Phil Kagi is a saint.
Mm,
Okay, the most gentle, beautiful, kindness, believingest person I've ever met.
wow.
He's you can scan him and he's just God loves him. It's just Jesus drips
Yeah.
all over him in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it- you know, but I'm an empath and I see behind the mask and
Yeah.
I see the little things that no one notices and
Hmm.
I see all the patterns and I tell you the reason why I got out of the Christian music world is because I thought to myself, if I'm gonna play music in this world, I would rather go out into the real world where I know what I'm getting.
Mm,
Because at that point, in my mind, Christian music was just wrong.
mm.
And the only one band that I was around, truly around a lot, was Resurrection Band, and
Oh,
those guys are good friends. I love them. I have never said anything bad about them ever. I love them, and they are true believers who live the life and walk the talk.
mm,
I hold Christianity then and even now to a high standard
yeah.
because I
Yeah.
go, if you're going to believe in something, then wow me.
Right. Right.
If you expect me to, what's the word for it? Go along with you and
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
what you believe.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm not, I'm just a real sensitive person. I see more than I need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel more than I need to, and
Mm.
I try to stay home to stay away from it. But
It's ironic that you talk about Res Band. Our
mhm,
first tour was with the Resurrection Band
I love them.
with Glenn and Wendy. And you're from Chicago originally, right? You
Oh
live in
yeah,
LA now, but yeah,
yeah. We
those
used to go
guys.
up to Jesus People and hang out with them.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I remember the first Res Band record.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see wave after wave of people in the
Oh
streets.
yeah, man.
And I remember the only thing drove me crazy was the vocals were so loud. Oh my God. But I remember back then Christian rock music the vocals had to be louder than
I
anything
don't get
else.
that. Yeah.
Well, the reason why was because as soon as the guitars and the drums are louder, they were taking away from the Holy Spirit and you were in
Mhm.
the flesh. You were
Right,
having
right.
too much fun being a
Yeah.
rock star. And
Right,
that
right.
and being a part of that, I just could not understand how they could neuter us who wanted to just
Have a good time.
express ourselves. Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
I have a bad attitude towards the construction of religion in that aspect. Not people, not
Yeah, yeah.
people do what they believe. I'm not blaming anybody.
Yeah.
And people always go, well, come to my church. People will accept you. It ain't got nothing to do with accepting or
Right.
not accepting. I just see something that I cannot be a part of.
Yeah,
Period.
man. Yeah, yeah.
And I get mad when I go into a church now and I see the preacher preaching and asking for money when why you asking God for money?
Yeah.
Or talking about what God wants. You don't know what God wants. You know what the God wants from it. And any of us, you barely know what he wants for you.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
think it's in the Bible? Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's a roadmap. It ain't. Anyway, don't stop me there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get back to Res Band. They were really, really cool. We played with them, my band called Servant. I had a Christian band called Servant
Nice.
for almost 10 years. And one day I'll put that stuff out too.
Yeah,
It
man.
was
Yeah.
straight up Christian lyrics, and I listened going, wow, Doug, because what I was singing about was what everybody was singing about salvation, about sin, about all those things that
Right.
that the Christians hold dear. But when I pull it out now and listen to it, I go, dude, you were just spewing words. Completely. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't believe or did believe. I was doing what I was told and didn't realize it. And now when I watch it, I'm going, oh my God. It's like I'm out there telling people how to live their life when I had no clue of what life was. And I feel sad about it, and not in a way that I did something wrong, but I feel sad in a way that how many of us do that and have done that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and just stifle people from finding their truth.
Yeah.
Anyway, get back to rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah, Res Band. So they Glenn and Wendy of them, they just played at Immortal Fest last year, where we played at. But I got this. This was probably you back in those days. You remember that?
That's me trying to be a pretty boy. Trying to be a rock star.
Man, I love it. I love it.
Trying to be a rock star. God.
No, you didn't have to try, brother. You are. You don't even have to try.
Yeah, but I was trying.
Yeah.
That's what we did back then. We looked around and go, I want to look like that. I want to look. Okay, how am I gonna look? Jimi Hendrix, John Beauvoir. I saw that mohawk with John Beauvoir and it was white. He plays in the Plasmatics, and I saw a video and I went, wow, that's badass. And me and him look alike. So I went out and got some black hair dye and shaved the side of my head. And the next day, you know, and Sam got us the jackets, you know.
Yeah.
But back then, we wanted to be rock stars. We wanted to look like rock stars.
Sure, man.
And it was fun. It really was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what about the one-off project you did called The Mob with Reb Beach, Kip Winger?
Yeah, you know, that
Kelly
was
Kiki
fun.
and Timothy Drury.
You know, it was really cool. Reb calls me up and says, Doug, you want to sing on this record I'm doing with these guys? And he told me all he was playing with.
Yeah.
And I go, sure. And he says, listen, I'll sing you the tracks. I've got the melodies in my head. If you can just make up words and sing them. And he sent these melodies to me, and I went, oh, this is easy. And I just, and you know, whatever the syllables sounded like to me, I just kind of made up lyrics to them. And that's one of my favorite moments, because there's just nothing to those lyrics, but I was just mimicking what I thought he might be saying.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was awesome, man.
I got paid for it. So it was good.
Yeah, and then another thing you're known for is your sound, that clangy sound, you know, that, man.
Yeah, I didn't play bass on that record. Kip Winger.
No, you just sang on there. Yeah, Kip played the bass on there.
Yeah, I got the tone. We all of us singers, you know, if we're not completely imitating someone else, we have our own sound, you know. I mean, like the 80s glam bands, they all sound like Robert Plant. Come on. But if you really look around at a lot of the singers that are still here, they all sound like themselves. Nobody sounded like Mick Jagger. Nobody sounds like Bono. You know, Paul Rodgers, you know, Glenn Hughes. I mean, we all have our own sound, luckily, or we're blessed by that. And then there's other people who could have had their own sound, but they imitated their favorite person too much. And that's all we did, is we imitate who we like. We just like a lot of singers. So we kind of mix them up, and all of a sudden got my own color.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, I can't think of anybody that sounds like Doug Pinnick. You know, you've not of the bands that I know of. Maybe there are, but for me, it's like, you know, you got your own distinct voice. And
I just noticed that that's probably the things I don't like about my voice. I finally realized those are the things that make it what it is and what people like about it. And it's been a lifelong journey trying to get to that point.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Because I've hated everything and didn't understand why anybody even liked it, but I did it because it's like I do it. You know, I've been singing all my life. Everybody makes me sing. I just do it. People react. They cry. They smile. They like it. Nobody ever says you suck. So I'm going, well, I guess I'll just keep doing what I do because it's easy and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'll keep doing it until you get my age and all of a sudden it starts to fade away. But,
yeah, man.
You know, we're trying to keep it going.
Yeah, man. So Another thing I heard you're like this master chef. Are you like a closet chef, man? Chef?
Yeah, yeah.
You are? How'd you get into that?
Well, I cook like I write songs. It's pretty
Oh,
reckless, pretty reckless, pretty interesting.
yeah.
It's pretty creative, not in visual, but in flavor, I would say.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like food that tastes good,
Yeah.
and I like to take things that most people would go, I would never eat that.
Oh,
When they take a bite of it, they go, oh my God, I didn't
wow.
know, like broccoli or Brussels sprouts
Oh,
or
yeah. I love them both.
and just things like that. And I just love cooking. Um, I've been cooking since I was a teenager. My mother was not a very good cook, and she didn't like to cook. And
Mm.
when I moved in with her when I was 14, I have 7 brothers and sisters who I moved in with my mother, and my mom says, "You cook, I'm going to work." And
Oh,
and that's how it started.
wow. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Well, back in the day it was spaghetti, but now I don't have a favorite. I just love to cook
You just love
whatever.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I just go buy all kind. I mean, I got a pasta maker. I've got all the. I mean, just buy everything. Try it. At least try it once if you
Yeah.
can. It's fun.
Yeah. You got a Blackstone or a smoker or anything, or just cook on the stove?
I don't have a smoker, but I have a smoker. That's a grill. Yeah, I grill a lot. I've got my stove's got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burners, and
Okay.
it's a big industrial stove, and
Oh, yeah.
I got a really cool kitchen, so I love to cook in there, and I buy lots of pots and pans and
Nice.
utensils. My roommates all come in and go, Doug, have you got a something? I go, yeah, hang on, and I'll get it.
Yeah, yeah.
They're in there whipping some eggs up, and I walk in the kitchen and go, wait a minute, and I'll pull out my little egg beater for them. I
That's
love it.
awesome, man. Hey, earlier before we started recording, we were talking about your wall of fame behind you, all this stuff that you
Hmm.
get from people on the
Yes,
road and
sir.
everything. Man, is that like a bunch of stickers or patches or
Stickers, patches, paper, things,
hats?
hats, presents, just everything's up there.
That's pretty awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I love that, man. What's funny with me is almost every show we do, somebody will give me something as well, but it's usually like cigars. I'm a cigar guy.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, I love cigars, but I get a lot of cigars and then I get a lot of patches from bands. Gotta love
Yeah,
them, my
I
best.
like patches and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
laminates back in the day when I went to every show there was, and I always got my laminate because I knew every band,
Oh yeah.
and so I got my little wall of laminates there, my Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Pantera, and all accesses and stuff.
Yeah. Who was your favorite
Yeah.
band to play with?
I don't have a favorite band to play with.
No.
Um, um, well, yeah, that's no. Okay, that's a broad statement. Let me go backtrack a little bit. The favorite band to tour with was AC/DC.
Oh wow.
Favorite band to play with, I loved everybody. It
Yeah.
was, I'm, King's X, and they're who they are.
Yeah.
AC/DC, I watched every night. Oh, Ronnie James Dio, I watched him every night too.
Oh yeah.
I stood on the side of the stage and watched Ronnie sing every night for 2 months.
That man could sing.
It was the most wonderful thing. And he put a stool out there for me after the third night so I could watch him because I would stand behind the PA and watch him on the stage.
Hmm.
And I can't come out one night to watch him. He's ready to walk on, and there's a stool there. So I sat down, and in the middle of a song, he comes over and says, "I saw you standing there, so I put a stool there. Your stool, sir."
Oh wow.
And he walked away and started singing again. He was a funny guy, wonderful,
Yeah.
beautiful man.
Yeah, I bet, man.
Yeah, that was fun playing with him. Pearl Jam was a great time because those guys are friends, and
Hmm.
we hung out a lot, and that was a cool time. I could go down the list. I mean, everybody. If a band was a King's X fan, we all hung out. If they weren't, you knew it. They didn't stick their nose out, and that happened. We're okay with that. We get it.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys being so like there's a saying that you guys have like your favorite band's favorite band.
Yeah,
You know, I mean that's huge, man.
it
To have
is.
that kind of a title. I mean, do you feel like, man, I got to hold up to somewhere? You just like, no, I'm just going to be me and do me, and you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, at this point, I have to
Yeah.
because everything that has happened because of this moment is because of
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna look back and go yuck or wow, I should have did it different because this is the way it was supposed to be. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Uh, Lemmy was a big influence emotionally for me because Lemmy's been around. I mean, me and him were the same age,
Mel
and
Anderson, Motorhead.
I've watched his career and watched who he became and
Mhm.
the legend that he is and how he could walk down the street and hang out at the Rainbow and play video games and be cool.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what I want to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what I became. It's like I'm a legend. I have a lot of money. I ain't got all those credentials that those rock stars have, but I did what I was supposed to do: go out and make
Yeah.
music and be that guy that some people look up to. Hey, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, man. No regrets. Everything just
Nah,
you can't,
nah.
right? You can't have any. You just gotta
No, I mean
live it now.
you have to go through the regrets. I mean, we all, the thing is, if somebody had told me a lot of these things that I know now, as I was going through, I wouldn't have listened anyway. You have to go
Right.
through it.
Sure.
And I finally gotten to a place where I can't tell someone what they need to do or help correct them. I can only kind of point the direction that I think they need to go, and if they go that way, then they
Mhm.
can go that way. But I can't control anyone because I know that I couldn't be controlled. And
Sure. Yeah.
there's a whole lot of things people told me back in the day that I should have listened to and I didn't.
Mhm.
And as a result of it, I look back and go, if he had did that, this would might have not have happened or would
Right.
have happened. But then on the other hand, say for instance, like if somebody told me, dude, you need to go get vocal lessons and learn how to sing properly so you don't lose your voice.
Yeah. No.
Okay, if I had it went and done that, I would have sounded like James from Queen, what's his face from Queensryche
Mhm.
or from Dream Theater, and
Mhm.
that's not me. That's
Right.
them, and how they sing is correct and amazing, and they still, at this point, I think they still got their voices. And I've struggled with mine because I screamed and yelled. But Aretha Franklin, she screamed and yelled and she knocked the doors down. And
Yeah, man.
before she passed, she had a hard time singing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, don't tell anybody how to live their life. Let them figure it out. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing. You can't hold somebody up. They're just going to keep falling,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's something that I had to learn on my own. So point is, I would never go back and tell myself anything else because I wouldn't
Right.
have
Right.
listened. I would
Yeah.
not have listened.
No, you know what's cool is James LaBrie, Dream Theater. He still
Hmm.
has it. Jeff
Yeah.
Tate, he lost it for a while, and then he went back to the basics, and now he has it
Mm.
again. You
Yeah,
know, you have
I've learned that you can get it back if you take some time off because I'm starting to get mine back.
yeah.
I've lost mine to the point where I was feeling like maybe I should just stop doing this. No one seemed to complain, and I always look for those videos going, why doesn't King's X stop playing? But I always think, dude, you need to step up to the plate here and get some work done on your voice to get
Yeah.
back out here and do it, or just say, hey, I'm done, but I just don't want to go out there and be like some of these singers that I know that are just quite obvious phoning it in because they're making millions.
Mm. If only,
And
right?
the thing is, their fans don't care.
Yeah.
Think about it. They're
You're right.
playing gigantodomes, barely being able to get the note out, and everybody's going, yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
man.
going, so does anything really matter, really? As long as you got them people that will do anything that will believe what you do and follow you, you got them.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, Metallica. Look at Metallica. They're filling stadiums, packing them
I
night after
know.
night. I heard
Yeah.
they just got a contract to do that Superdome Superdome for like a whole year contract. Like,
Yeah, they might as well. I mean, they
yeah,
can.
yeah, they
I mean,
can bring in. Yeah,
they've got the people. You know,
they
that's
got the
what
phone.
happens when you write hits and capture. And they did it their own way too, which is so cool. You know, I mean,
Right.
remember, we nobody but us cool people knew about Metallica until "And Justice for All."
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that
Remember, before
was yeah,
that, we all knew what was going
yeah, man.
on, and
Yeah,
they were selling records and packing places out. You know,
yeah,
so yeah, I have much respect for that band.
yeah,
You
man.
know, and I always think also that, you know, I if we ever got to that point of playing places that big, I don't, for me personally, that is not what I would have, I would not enjoy that.
Mm,
Personally, because I love being in a little room playing with a band, you know, the
yeah.
fun, the energy, there's something about that energy that I miss in those great big places. And I played those places, you know, as an opening band with AC/DC, you know, in arenas and stuff.
Hmm.
And it's great, but I just don't feel close.
Right,
And
right.
that's what I miss. But I mean, I think it's pretty nice to have 30,000 people screaming for you while you're trying to play. I guess that
Singing
must
your
be a,
songs.
that's a great feeling.
Yeah, man.
I would believe that that is, but I guess
Yeah.
my point is I have went through every scenario in my brain as to what could have happened and
Mm,
what didn't happen, and now I've come to that conclusion where I'm good. I'm
yeah,
good
yeah,
with where it's at,
yeah, yeah.
and I think that's my message for any musician because you know we can't be bitter. You know, we all did what we did. We made our mistakes. You
Hmm.
know, we put our shit out there and everybody didn't like it. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to get mad at
Yeah.
them? Or are you
Mm,
going to think you suck? You know, the two
yeah.
things that you shouldn't do is think you suck, give up, or be upset because people don't like your stuff. It's like
That's it.
if those are the two reasons why you do it, then you shouldn't have started in the
Hmm.
first place. And I tell anyone, if this is what the outcome you're looking for, don't do this.
Yeah. Do it because you love it, because that's your passion, not
Right?
because you're looking for a rise from the people. Yeah, I know. I get that, man.
Right.
I get that. So, I know people are going to say weird crap about this next question, but I
Hmm.
saw an interview with you a while ago and I totally related to it. And I'll tell you why afterwards, but you had talked about being abducted by an alien as a
Hmm.
kid.
Hmm.
Can you share that on here?
Yeah, just real. I'll condense it because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think I've said it so many times, but when I was around 3, the reasons why I know is because my mom left when I was around 3, and I didn't see her for years. And I remember after the abduction, waking up in her lap crying. But I was around 3. This being came to my bed. It was pitch black outside. He was real tall, had white hair. He had a white type bright robe on with a belt around and sandals that tied up that went all the way up his leg. And I wasn't afraid of him. And he took my hand, and I remember my arm was like this when I
Oh,
walked.
wow.
And she was very tall. And I remember going out the back door of my grandmother's house, and all of a sudden it was really bright. And it was like I could barely see. And I remember we were going up. I don't remember if we were walking or floating, but we were going up. And I remember I looked back and saw the house in the distance.
Mm,
And I thought to myself, I don't want to go. I want to go back to be with my mommy. And
mm.
I remember I had a panic attack and started pulling away from his hand, this person's hand. The next thing I remember, I was in my mom's lap crying. Now, I thought, okay, it was a dream, or maybe I was sick and maybe it was Jesus, who knows? You know, I had
Yeah.
all these scenarios my whole life. I never really told anybody until I
Mm.
was around, man, well, in between, let me tell you what happened. Let me give you the scenario real quick, though.
Yeah, man.
After that happened, I found that I got this disease. I got sick, really sick, and I got real skinny. And I had these really high fevers.
Mm,
And I went to the doctor and I had rheumatic fever. And I had a heart murmur after that. Um, in between that period of my life and between that and 10 years old. And also, all of my skin peeled Like if you get sunburned and you have a light layer of skin,
Really?
my whole body peeled. It took a month or so, but I just everything scabbed up. And we thought, well, maybe it's because you had a fever and it was so bad or whatever. But what I found out about a few months ago was I was watching this thing on abductees, and they said a lot of the people in the blue book got radiation poisoning, and their skin burned, and they had this problem, and that's exactly what happened to me. And I always wondered why my skin. Even my relatives now say I shed like a snake, and we never understood why. Okay, second thing is years later also, I saw, this is about maybe 10 years ago now, I was around 60. I saw this lady, or well, whenever they opened up the Blue Book, the United States did that thing on the alien
Yeah.
things that have happened, and there was a lady that remembers her abduction, and she tells the same story, but she remembers it all. And she said she was on the bed or whatever it was, and she couldn't move, and the alien said, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you." And she said she was on the spaceship, I guess, and she said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I have to give you another." Body. And she goes, "Why?" And she says, he said, "I have to take your essence out of you and put it into another body, another clone." He says, "We've been cloning you since birth." And she said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you have rheumatic fever and I have to give you a new body." And then I'm going, well, wow, that's what I was diagnosed with after the abduction, is I had rheumatic fever, or before it or whatever, but it all happened in that time. Okay, another thing is I was around 40, and I was watching TV, and this alien thing came out, and they talked about the 4 aliens that most abductees have seen, and they all look like these 4 basically. And the third one was a Nord, and it was exactly what the thing was that came and got me. So I'm going, okay. So through the years, as I've learned about abductions, it's in my mind, it's confirmed that that happened to me. Other people think it was just a figment of my imagination, which is they have that right. But for me, yeah, I believe it happened.
Yeah.
And also, there's just things in my psyche that are I'm aware of, that most abductees have after they're abducted. There's these senses that we have that other people don't seem to. It's enhanced some of our senses that other people haven't seemed to develop yet. Put it that way. And it's kind of weird. And you don't talk about it too much. I don't know. I shouldn't have said anything, but but yeah, it's some strange shit happened to us for sure. If you ever meet anybody who was abducted, they can tell you some crazy ass stories about after, the nightmares, the night terror dreams, just the things of the paranormal things. Even as a Christian, I remember, feeling spirits come in my room and believing it was the devil, and casting them out, and watching paranormal things happen in my life, and contributing to God and the devil, when I realized later in my life that it was me conjuring it out, my shadow inside me, conjuring these things up, because it was repressed feelings, and I've gotten control of all that, and I don't have the nightmares anymore, and I get it. Like I always say, if you got to find who you are, and then you become whole, and all that shit stops. But yeah, so to this day, I believe that that's what happened to me, and
I'll tell you what happened to me when I first moved to Florida, like 30 years ago. Several years later, I used to fish at the pier, and the pier faced. I would always go to the end, and I like fishing at night. I'd be shark fishing, right? So me and my 2 nephews are out there. It's 2:00 in the morning, and it's pitch black. We're standing at the end of the pier, and it's pitch black, looking into the ocean, right? And all of a sudden, there's this light, an orange light. I don't know, maybe 100 yards away from us. You didn't hear nothing, and then that orange light started having little lights spinning around it.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, a whole big bright light came out from under it
Mm-hmm.
and shined down into the ocean. And you could see probably 5 or 10 feet into the water, even from the distance we were at, as how bright that light was. And we're looking, and my nephews are like crying. They're freaking out. And there was this other guy there, and he's just like, you know, we're all just in awe. And all of a sudden, the light turned off from underneath. The light stopped spinning, and this thing just rose up real slow. And I kid you not, it went shoo, and just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hear nothing, right? And we're like, my God, what was that, right? All of a sudden, like 20 minutes later, we looked down the ocean by Cape Canaveral, and we could see these helicopters coming up the water. And there was 2 military choppers right where that thing was, and they flew around there for about 15 or 20 minutes with their lights on, looking everywhere, and then they went right back down the coast, right to where we're now. What was that? I don't know.
Well, we see,
I
it
don't know
was
what that was.
dude.
But, you know,
There is a whole alien civilization in the ocean, dude. A third of the
I've heard
ocean,
that.
the other side, there we don't even know what's over there. And you know what else? According to what, you know, if you want to listen to conspiracy, they know what's under there and they won't tell us. You
Right,
know,
right.
just think about how many animals are so far below after the flood, after everything that's happened. I mean, dinosaurs, if there ever were any, you know. I mean, just imagine stuff that's been living there for millions of years.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's,
I'm sure there's alien bases down there. I mean,
yeah.
what's his name? Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
It's in his records talked about stuff like you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
That shit is real.
Yeah, you know what's funny is you can't tell me, and I don't get political or nothing on here, but this is really not political, but it has to do with the government. Our government can send a ship into outer space
They
to
didn't.
go to the moon and all that, right? I'm
They
just
didn't
saying.
go to the moon, but
I'm
they
just
can go
saying.
on there.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever. But you cannot tell me that they don't have the same capability to go deep into the water as well.
Exactly,
You
exactly.
know, I mean,
Because
there's, you know,
yeah, if they don't, then neither one is possible.
yeah.
You know, I always believed that they went to the moon, but all the conspiracy
Say they did.
theory, if you really look at them, you go, I mean, I have questions. You know, it's like, why was the flag going sideways? Who videoed it, and why is there only one copy of the Earth ever? And
Mhm.
everything else is you know, there's just lots of, when I find reasonable doubt with something, I like to go down
Yeah,
that rabbit hole
sure.
and see if there's more, because that's important to me, not to just believe anything. And you know, even like, remember, we only had the telephones that we had back then were landlines. We
Mhm.
didn't and our radar, I mean, we had 3 TV stations, and we had to turn the antennas toward Chicago to pick them
Yeah.
up. Okay, now how in the world did they get real time talking to someone, and we're watching it on TV and they're on the moon? It should, I mean, you can't. There's
Yeah,
so
we don't
many.
know.
We understand modern technology now, and we look at that and go, you know, that's true. That couldn't have happened. We were taking Polaroid pictures back then.
Mhm.
So, but again, doesn't matter if the Earth is flat or they went to the moon. Does it change anything?
Right.
Really? And I
Right.
tell people all the time, at the end of the day, what does it matter? It just proves that we've been lied to. What are you gonna do? You're gonna feed your kids, you're gonna send them to school, and you get your paycheck and be miserable
Yeah.
and believe the bullshit.
Yeah. You never know, man. Any last words for our viewers, Doug?
Wow, I've had so many last words from the beginning of
Already, right? Yeah.
beginning of this.
Let's say you're.
I always say at the end of every King's X show,
Mhm.
we are King's X. Go in peace and don't take no bullshit from anybody.
Mm.
And I think that says it all, because bullshit is our biggest enemy. And for some people, their greatest strength. Know the difference.
All right, man. All right. Well, I'm going to say a little something. Hang in there for a minute after I do the outro, okay?
I'm
But
here.
guys, listen, man, we had a great time. Doug, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
It was great. It was great having you on here, and hopefully Doug's conversation with myself answered a lot of the questions that you guys have.
Or raised a lot of questions.
Or raised a lot of questions. Correct. On the show, you know, we like to talk the truth. We believe in Jesus. We believe in salvation. You decide for yourself. Same with the conversation about aliens. Like Doug said, you believe what you want to believe. We believe in the one true God. And guys, thank you so much for being on the show. All our viewers, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until we see you all again. Is it wrong? Doug, hang in there for a minute. and we'll be right back, buddy. All right. So don't hang up.